Hello and welcome to the Paid Search Podcast. My name is Chris, and today I'm going to talk to the very beginners of Google Ads. Now, if you're not a beginner, I promise you this will still be useful. I'm going to share 10 tips to help you make sure you start off your Google Ads search campaigns the right way. Okay, so if you're just getting started in Google Ads, or maybe you're just restarting in Google Ads, this will be a great episode to listen to because I'm going to give you 10 things that will help you from failing day one in Google Ads. You'll obviously want to listen to this if you've never done a Google Ads campaign ever, but it's also useful if you want to just have a quick checklist and make sure that you've got some of the basics covered. So we're going to jump in with that in just a moment. I want to remind you about Opteo.com because I say remind you because I've been talking about this software for years and it has grown and grown. This is a Google Ads software system designed for people like you. It is designed for managers of single accounts, multiple accounts, entire agencies to get more done in Google Ads and get it done faster and more efficiently. It is phenomenal. It has a built-in reporting system so that you can spit out reports to you or your clients. It has a amazing system to help you optimize your accounts every single week, every day. You can jump in. There's always suggestions based on the priority of those suggestions. The important stuff always comes up first, and then you grind through, boom, 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 and then by the end of it, you've improved your campaign through this amazing checklist. Highly recommend it. You can get 2 months for free at opteo.com/PSP. That is opteo.com/PSP. Okay, so a little behind the scenes here. I'm going to be traveling for the next 3 to 4 weeks, and I am still going to be doing the podcast, but audio sounds may change a little bit next week. Hopefully they sound good this week. But that means the podcast is going to be a little different, probably going to be a little bit shorter. And hopefully you guys like that. I want to make these podcasts as concise as I can possibly make them. And hopefully that's something that works for you guys. So any feedback you have about this little bit different format for just the month of July, let me know. Did you like it? You missed the longer episodes? Let me know what you think. But let's skip straight to the meat of the episode because that's what this whole podcast for the next 3 to 4 weeks is going to be. It's going to be meaty episodes about getting something done in Google Ads, making sure that you have some of the core basics in Google Ads covered. Okay, so beginners and those that feel like beginners. That's who I'm talking to. And for those of you that feel like a beginner, it seems like that can happen in the blink of an eye. You could be running Google Ads campaigns for years, for decades, and suddenly you feel like, what am I doing? What is going on here? I thought I understood things. I thought I knew just some of the basics of what to get done. Whether you're feeling like a beginner or truly are a brand new Google Ads beginner, I'm going to go through 10 tips to help you understand how to get more done and how to make sure you don't just waste time playing with settings, doing things that aren't going to move the needle in Google Ads. So that's what this is all about. So let's go through these 10 tips. So you're starting your brand new Google Ads campaign or you're restarting after some failures. I've been there. Number one is you only want to run your Google Ads campaigns on Google.com. That may sound like a silly thing to say because you're like, well, of course, I'm on Google Ads. I only want to run on Google.com. Well, if you don't uncheck the search partners checkbox in the campaign settings and the display network checkbox in the campaign settings, you may not be showing on Google.com. So that's the very first tip. When you set up your first campaign, make sure you uncheck the other networks. Now, this is for beginners. I'm not saying that it is always a bad thing to run on these other networks, but the goal here is to have minimum amount of spend on other things that you didn't intend to spend on. I want spend to go exclusively to what you expect to spend money on. So Google.com is it. That's the one place I want the ads to show. That's it. That's tip number 1. Number 2, create 1 or 2 ad groups. Now, I know people go and binge listen to a bunch of my episodes, and I know I share a lot of tips and ideas, and you're brainstorming, you're coming up with all kinds of great things, but put that aside if you're just getting started in Google Ads. Start with 1 or 2 ad groups. You need to understand how these ad groups function and how the keywords and how the systems function before you start building more complex systems. And here's why. It's because your first Google Ads ad groups will probably be either too specific or too broad. It's not going to be right in the middle. You're going to get it wrong the first time, which is fine. Every time you do something for the first time, it's wrong, and you can always do it better the next time. So start with 1 or 2 ad groups. That's all you really need. Okay, 1 or 2 ad groups, and start very thematically focused on your core audience. What is the number one thing that they are going to be searching for? What are the common searches that you want to make sure you show up for, and start with that. Okay, so 1 or 2 ad groups, and that's it. All right, so that's number 2. Number 3, in each of those ad groups, I want you to have 5 keywords. If you only have 4, then that's fine, but I don't want you to have 10. I don't want you to have 15. I want you to have 5 keywords. And I like to push limitations on people in this way, because if you only have 1 or 2 ad groups, immediately you're going to have to trash the other ideas that are kind of outliers. And if you only have 5 keywords you can use, you're going to have to trash the other keywords that are some of the things like, well, what about this? Or, oh, I thought about this. None of that, what about this idea stuff. None of that stray, I was laying in bed at night and thought about this and I want to try it. None of that. We want to get to what is most important. We want to work on only priority terms. Okay, so your keywords should not exceed 5 in each of your ad groups. So if you're going to the max, you should have 2 ad groups with a total of 10 keywords, 5 keywords in each of those ad groups. Okay, so number 1, Google.com only. Number 2, 1 to 2 ad groups. Number 3, 5 keywords in each of those ad groups. Now, number 4, phrase match keywords only. Now, I understand that some of you may be very, very cautious about wasting money in Google Ads, as you should be. But I strongly believe that exact match is not the place to start. Exact match is usually where you end up or finish in Google Ads. You start adding exact match once you start getting data and stuff like that. It is not the place to start. You need to begin with phrase match. Broad is too generic. You're not going to get precise enough traffic with broad. You're going to get too little traffic with phrase. Too little traffic with exact. Phrase match is a happy medium. Okay, so you're going to pick these 5 keywords. They need to be about 3 words long, typically. So if you're a local service company, it might be a geographic plus what you do plus a generic kind of service term or something like that. So it might be Atlanta plumber for hire, Atlanta plumber services, Atlanta plumber near some kind of action term. That's a good keyword. Okay, 3 to 4 words for each of those keywords, and all phrase match. Okay. Number 5, do not have keywords that are one word long. One word keywords are very weak keywords. And you say, well, Chris, what if I did exact match one word? Sure, okay, but not if you're just getting started. Save it. I'm a big believer that the destination that you're headed towards is a journey in Google Ads. You don't arrive at your destination on day one or week one or even month one. And many times you don't get there for years. So you have time to explore these. Write it down. Make a note somewhere else. Put it aside for right now. Those one-word exact match keywords are likely to divert into other search terms that won't be relevant to the original keyword. So it's important that you focus on, as I said, 3 to 4 words. So no one-word keyword, and definitely no one-word broad match keyword. Going back to the plumber idea, not just the word plumber. And not plumber, Atlanta plumber, right? Don't say Atlanta plumber broad match. At least do Atlanta plumber phrase match. That's a little bit better. But even better is Atlanta plumber services phrase match. That would be an even better decision. Okay? So that's number 5. So we've been through 5 of these. So my hope here is that these 10 steps, these 10 checkpoints, will make this Google Ads process much more approachable for you. It won't be as intimidating. If you find yourself intimidated, you're probably going outside of these. Okay? If you keep it small and simple, all the way through these 10, I've shown 5, it should be approachable. So if you find yourself already overwhelmed, one ad group, 5 keywords, all phrase match, very basic, focused keywords. And if you don't know how to pick the right keyword, let me say this. Imagine your perfect customer. Imagine they're having the problem that you know you can solve. What do they type as they're putting their hands to the keyboard, as they're putting their thumbs to the phone screen? What are they about to type? They're on google.com. What are they about to type? If it's how do I do this? If it's something services near me, go with that. Start there. There's not really a lot of wrong answers here as long as you're envisioning your client searching for your service on google.com. Think about it from their point of view. Do not write keywords from your own point of view. Write keywords based on what their problem is. All right, next is number 6. One ad in each ad group. There is no need to write multiple ads. You do not need 3 responsive search ads. You do not need a call-only ad. You do not need extra complication to this. It's actually quite simple. One ad in each ad group. So when you're starting with this formula, that means you would have 2 ads total at most. 1 in each of the ad groups that you created. Okay? So number 6 is easy. 1 ad. Let's talk about how to write the ad. That is number 7. Number 7, in those ads, there's 2 of them, the way that ads work in Google Ads is you write 1 headline, and you can write up to 15 of those headlines. So you write a headline. You say, plumber services near you. Maybe that's a headline. Okay? Then you have to write another headline and another headline. You can write up to 15 of them. Scratch writing 15. Don't do all 15. Again, I want it to be approachable. It needs to be easy. I want the minimum chances of you messing up. So just start with 6 headlines. Okay? And you say, okay, Chris, how do I write 6 headlines? How do I write them? Okay, well, that's number 7 here. Number 7 is follow this formula. I want you to write the first 2 need to have the keyword in it. So one of those 5 keywords that you came up with in this ad group, put that in the ad copy. You might need to kind of rearrange the word a little bit to make it make sense, in human language. But you need to put the first 2 headlines need to be repeats of those keywords. Okay? So if it's Atlanta plumber near me, you might need to say something like locally owned Atlanta plumber or plumber services in Atlanta. Okay? I mean, they're all containing the words of the keyword, and you might need to rearrange it a little bit, but spit that keyword back out to them in the form of one of the headlines in that ad. So 2 of those, all right? So we need 4 more to hit my minimum. The next one needs to be a call to action. Okay? Call to action, schedule an appointment, get a quote, call now, buy now, limited time offer, something to push the timing on them making this, doing the click. You need to tell them what you expect them to do. Like this is what this ad is about. It's a plumber, and you can call now to book an appointment. Right? So that's the message. You need a two headlines that are keywords, 1 headline that's a call to action. The next one, which is their 4th headline, needs to be a feature. Now, a feature is focused on you, the business. Let's say you're a plumber and you can be there in 2 hours. You have a 2-hour response window. So you can say, this is a feature of ours. Guaranteed appointment within 2 hours. So whatever kind of feature you offer as a value to the customer, that is what you type here. If you have 2, put 2 here. If you have 1, put 1. Okay? So some kind of feature, some kind of something that makes your service better than other services. And then last, we have a benefit. Now, there could be 1 of these or 2 of these, so either 2 features and 2 benefits, or 1 feature and 2 benefits. I want you to try and hit another 3 here total between the features and benefits. But the very last one, the fourth thing that you should write is a benefit. So if you're a plumber, get pipes fixed today. Stop worrying about blah 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 today, or stress-free mortgage solution today. Something that is focusing on their needs, not what you do, but their needs. That's the difference between a feature and a benefit. So write a benefit. So hopefully you've ended up with 6 headlines. Okay, and then add to that 2 descriptions. You have to write 2. I really don't care a lot about descriptions. They don't matter that much. Write 2 descriptions. Okay, crank them out, copy paste them from your website, whatever. I'm not particular on those. I don't think they matter too much. People don't read them. Google doesn't put a lot of weight into them, and whatever, put them in. Okay, so that is number 7. So you have pretty much set up your campaign at this point. That is all that you really need. Now, hopefully you have picked a geographic area. I'm not going to give any tips on geographic areas because everybody's different. Whether you choose zip codes or state or nation, country, area, certain areas around a radius, something like that. There's a lot of ways to do it. So I'm not gonna get into that. You choose what you want to do there. So now we're getting into number 8. Number 8 is your bidding strategy. Your bidding strategy should be clicks, otherwise known as max clicks. Do not choose, if you're confused about what bidding strategies are and the names don't really match what you're looking at, don't choose anything based on conversions or conversion value. Anything around conversions, do not choose that. If this is your first campaign, do not choose conversion-based bidding strategies. Choose max clicks. And don't assign a maximum CPC. Leave it wide open for Google to run. Okay? Now, an aside, to those of you that are restarting, you feel like a beginner, and you have a history of conversions in your account for months and maybe years, it might be acceptable for you to do max conversions or maximize conversions or just conversion-based bidding of some kind. But take caution here, because that's not really what phase you're in. If you feel like you're starting over, you should really start from phase 1. In my opinion, phase 1 is getting the right traffic for the right price in Google Ads. That's what phase 1 is. So max clicks is going to be your best option. All right, that's number 8. Real simple. Max clicks. Clicks-based bidding, that's all. Number 9 is a budget. And I cannot tell you how many times I'm asked over and over, Chris, what budget should I pick? Chris, which budget is the successful budget to pick? There is no successful budget. There are only successful campaigns that are either running slow or fast. Budget only adds the speed at which a campaign runs. It does not affect the success. I could have a failing campaign running at $10 or $100 a day, and it's still failing. It's still a horrible campaign that's wasting money. I could have a successful campaign that's $10 a day or $100 a day. It's still successful. It's just getting success at a slower pace at $10 versus $100. Do not assume that your success is bound by your budget. I'm going to suggest start with $10 a day, maybe as much as $30 a day. So if you go in that range, you will spend less than $1,000 for the entire month. I feel like that's at least something to work with. Okay, even for those of you that are dealing with $20 clicks, you can at least get about 30 clicks a day, 30 clicks in a month or more. Even if your clicks are $20 and you set $20 a day budget, you can at least get 1 click a day to look at. Okay, so you do not need high budgets for this to work. If you're just getting started, start slow, build upon success. Don't build upon a hunch or some blog that says you need 30% of your expected income minus what day of the week it is plus the phase of the moon. It's a bunch of baloney. You don't need a special budget to succeed in Google Ads. And then number 10 is this. Once you've done all of this, number 10 is to sit back and let the data come in. But once a week, not once a month, that'd be bad. Once a week, I want you to go in and check your search terms. Quick vocab check here. Keyword is what is a phrase match. Remember, keywords are phrase match. That's where you do broad, phrase, exact, all of that. That's a keyword. Search terms are what people type into Google. Your job for the next 4 weeks when you're getting started here is to run a search term report once a week. And you do that by going to Insights, the Insights and Reports tab. It's over on the left, and look for the search terms. Set your time frame to the last 7 days and review those search terms. Every single search term that is not appropriate, that is something you don't want to spend money on, hit the checkbox next to that search term and then exclude that. Hit add as negative keyword and exclude it as an exact match negative. That's your ongoing homework. The point is to get through the first month, the first 3 weeks or something, and start gathering data. You need to understand, how do these keywords respond on the market? What kind of competition is there? What's the cost per click when I try something like this? You do not set one of these things up and it just works. You have to gather data, assess, make changes, and then let it run again. So your job is to not do some deep analysis and all this kind of thing, not try and beat your competitors. Your job is to just pay for traffic that's worth paying for. If you end up paying $5 a click, make sure it's worth the price. Make sure that the keywords you've chosen are worth it, and you figure that out by looking at your search terms. Every single week, every 7 days, look at those. I have some bonus tips for you that might surprise you. I want to tell you about something that's the 10, but I have another 2 things I want to tell you about assets that I think are important. Real quick, I want to tell you about optio.com/PSP. They have been my sponsor for a very long time, and they're hopefully not going to go anywhere. But if you guys don't sign up, if I don't get people that to sign up, then I could lose my sponsorship with them. So that's why I tell you twice every episode to please check them out. I know many of you have, and I thank you guys for doing that. It's made a massive difference that I've been able to do this podcast and have just one sponsor. So that's been phenomenal. So if you haven't, do me a favor and go check them out. opteo.com/PSP. So here we go. Last bonus tips here about the assets. Now, assets, that's the new name for extensions. They used to be called extensions. Now they're called assets. Who knows what they'll be called next? But regardless, I want to tell you, do not add site links. That's the first tip. Bonus tip number 1, do not add site links. Don't let Google add site links. We just want traffic going to the page that you've designated as your single page that you want to send traffic to. That's it. Nothing else. Okay. Number 2 bonus tip is I do think it's worth adding images, the image assets, where you can attach images to your campaign and show an image. If you're a plumber, show a picture of your truck or some person holding a wrench, smiling. You need some kind of image on there. I think it does help. It does, if you're bidding high enough, it can show with your ad, and it looks very nice. And I think a phone number is worth adding as well. So a call asset, I think, is worth adding. Not a call ad. I don't want you to add a call ad. That's different. That's not what we're talking about. I'm talking about a phone number asset, a call asset that shows the phone number along with your normal text ad. I think that's worth it. And that's it. I hope that this is approachable for you. I hope this is simple for beginners out there. Be sure and subscribe, because I'm going to be going through the next level up experience. How do you level up from here? How do you improve? You've gone through week 1, week 2, week 3. How do you level up from beginner to intermediate? I'm going to talk about that in the next episode, so be sure and stick around for that. If you'd like to reach out to me, I offer Google Ads management services. That's mainly what I do. And if you are ready to give up with your Google Ads and you are frustrated with it, you just don't have time, that's where my management services come in. So you can reach out to me at chrisschaefer.com for management services. Otherwise, you'll catch me here every week, same time. Thank you for being here.